assignment today, you were assigned 31 through 34, and the instructions there were to look at the graph and come up with an equation based on what you see in the graph. And so I'm going to show you some techniques that you can use in order to write the equation in the graph. The first thing you need to do is you need to draw a horizontal line that cuts that graph exactly into two equal parts. Now notice I said horizontal. I didn't mean vertical. So where would I put that line so that it cuts it into two equal parts?
Where the zero's at?
Yeah, where the zero's at. So the nice thing here is that I'm not going to have to worry about a shift or anything. Okay, but there are some times that I do have to worry about the graph shifting down or up, and so that's why if we start here, that's a great place to start. Okay, now if you remember, we need to know the amplitude and the period. So I'm going to start with the amplitude, and by drawing that line in, I can now figure out what the amplitude is, because the amplitude is just the distance from that pink line to either a high point or a low point. So if I go and look right here, here's the pink line. If I go down all the way to here, what does it look like that's going to be?
Maybe
3. Probably 3, right? So amplitude is 3. Now period. We need to find the period in here. And so the best way to find the period is to look for successive high point to high point, or successive low point to low point, or you can look from the middle, like where it would be a sine graph, to the next middle where it would be a sine graph. So if you notice here, just where it starts at 0, 0, I am looking for the next middle point that goes up. So where does that one occur at? Pi, right there. So that is my period. Okay. So now if you remember the equation, okay, that we were given, was this. Okay, that was one of the equations we were given, and the reason why I'm sticking with this one is because this one doesn't have any shifts. The graph didn't move left or right any, it didn't move up or down any, so this is where I'm going to start. And so which graph, or what type of graph do I have here when I'm looking at 0, 0? Is that a sine or a cosine? It's a sine because it starts at the middle and goes up. So we can eliminate the cosine. So if I start to fill in my necessary numbers, I get 3 sine. Oh, I don't know what b is. Okay. So when we think about b, okay, what do we know about b? There's a formula with b in it. And what was that formula? What was the formula?
Yeah, it's period.
What is the formula?
The 2 pi.
2 pi what?
2 pi over b.
Equals the period. So I know that 2 pi over b equals the period. Okay, so let's plug in some things. I know in this problem that the period is pi. Okay, right? That's what I know. So what does b have to be in order for that to be true? 2. If those of you are wondering how we did that, it's basically like multiplying both sides by b and then dividing by pi. But I'm just going to put 2 in for b, and there's your equation. That's it. Okay, we're going to now look at number 33. So here we go. Here's 33. So somebody tell me what my first step is. Find the middle. Yep, so where is the middle going to be? 1. Good. Why is the middle at 1?
Splits it in half.
That splits it in half. That's halfway between -1 and +3. Okay, so that we're going to actually use. So this graph really has a shift. And in this case, the shift is up 1. So we're going to use that in our equation. Now I need to find the amplitude. What's the amplitude going to be? Close. 2. Because the distance from here to my top here is 2. So that's why that pink line is pretty important, because that kind of shows you all of that. Okay, we got to find the period. So the period, if you look here, I actually started a peak, right? So the next peak I have is right here. So what's the period going to be? Pi over 2. So the equation I'm going to use, am I going to use a cosine or a sine? Cosine because it starts at a high point. So y equals, in this case, y equals my amplitude, which is? Okay, got to figure out what b is. So remember, 2 pi over b equals pi over 2. Okay, the easiest way to do this, switch those babies. So really, 2 pi divided by pi over 2 equals b. So basically, it's 2 divided by what fraction? 1/2. Yeah. So what is 2 divided by 1/2? 4. So I'm going to plug 4 in here for x. And I'm about done, but I've neglected one thing, and what is that? The shift. How do I do a shift up 1? Plus 1. There you go. The reason why we didn't do parentheses around the x is because it wasn't a left or right shift. It was only an up and down shift. Okay, there you go. So now, we've done 2 of the 4. You can do the 2 remaining ones on your own. So you need to make sure you get 32 and 34 done. Now the other thing you need to do with your remaining time is you need to make sure you get that blue sheet done. That blue sheet needs to get done. Okay, because we are actually going to use it a lot tomorrow. Okay, so now you need to work, get this assignment done. We're going to get ready with section 5 tomorrow. Okay, section 5 is not a section that's going to take you a lot of time on your homework. The homework is actually probably one of the shortest assignments you'll have. The other thing is, section 5 is going to be extremely tough if you're not here. So you need to make sure that you're going to be here. Because if you're here, it's going to be fairly easy. Yep. If you're here, it's fairly easy. If you're not here, it's going to be tough to kind of learn.